Hello guys and welcome back to Fox Games. Today we are going to take a look at my Chronomancer build, which uses no crits, uses no special attributes, uses no special uniques. It's just like a pure, simple Chronomancer spellcaster. This build is made so you can actually combo all the things, fight for your life through hordes of monsters and bosses alike. But this build is like really good at mapping, but it's a bit weaker on the boss's side. Doing bosses with this build is kinda annoying, and you will have to face their mechanics as Jonathan envisioned it. So okay, without any further ado, let's take a look at the build. So let's hit the tree first. We are picking the Chronomancer class, and we are going on the left side. First thing that we are going to pick is Sense of Time, which is allowing us to get like a 60% increased cast speed over 10 seconds. And when it reduces over 10 seconds to 0, we are getting Area of Effect. This is quite nice because it scales also with our other things that we are using, for example, like the Blasphemy for curses. Then we have Apex of the Moment, which is basically another, let's say, aura, which is slowing your enemies by 20%. Presence and aura effects are kind of different in a sense that presence has its own radius, but also auras have their own radius. Basically, that's two radiuses, and you can like increase each of them with area of effect, and also you can use presence area of effect, which increases only presence's area. So we are going to take a look at that a little bit later. And finally, we are taking, which I think is the best thing, defensively speaking, Footprints in the Sands, which grants you like Temporal Rift, and we got Ultimate Command, which grants you Time Freeze. I think these two things are like the best defensive things in Path of Exile 2 currently, because they allow you so much freaking interactions that you can like just basically survive and live through anything if you are really focused. So basically, Temporal Rift grants you something that's like you are leaving your images after images, and when you use a button, when you click the button for Temporal Rift, it basically returns you to the latest, actually to the first image that was left in time, restoring your HP, restoring your mana, restoring your energy shield as well. In a sense, you can just like reset yourself a couple of times. What do I mean by a couple of times? We'll see later when we check the gem setup. Another thing is like the time freeze. The time freeze is also great. When you're in some crazy clutch and you're about to die, you can just use time freeze and completely freeze the whole freaking screen or even more. And basically nobody is going to move for a couple of seconds, which just gives you enough time to like regenerate your mana, regenerate your energy shield, and basically save yourself. And of course you can have the combined Temporal Rift and Time Freeze. For example, you're running, somebody attacks you, you're about to die, you use Temporal Rift and it ports you back. But for example, it ports you back where there's a bunch of monsters and your HP is back, but you want to just like, you know, like evade something and navigate or do something interesting. You can then use just time freeze, and basically you'll freeze time, and then you can like combine those two actions. Like it's a really nice interaction. You can like combo these two like very, very efficiently and get out of many clutches that appear like, and believe me, there's a lot of them when you choose the maps properly. That's why we pick Chronomancer, because it has a lot of great defensive stuff, like the Apex of the Moment, Temporal Rift, and Time Freeze. The good stuff is buffs on you expire 10% slower. You'll see why we need that. And Sense of Time is more like an offensive thing, which gives us cast speed. And you'll see why we need cast speed, and that's it. So the rest of the tree is basically investing into a little bit of everything, mostly mana regeneration. Mana regeneration and mana efficiency on Chronomancer are a must, because you'll be casting so fast and spells cost a lot. So you do have to like keep that mana going. Personally, I have picked mana regen over here. Then we have like some mana regeneration and mana cost efficiency over here. The conservative casting is also a nice one, and it's these small nodes are for efficiency. I think the efficient casting has also mana cost efficiency nodes, which is great. And then I picked this. Ether Flow is nice because you have mana regeneration while moving, and basically you are constantly moving even when you are casting spells. A bunch of other mana regeneration smaller nodes, and we have spell damage per 100 max mana. I think that's about it when it comes to mana regeneration. Then we have like some of the elemental damage increases, which is basically we picked this one. Then we have like increased elemental damage against enemies that are affected by elemental ailments. There's also an increased chance to inflict elemental ailments against rare or unique enemies. So basically, besides Arbiter, I don't know which boss couldn't be frozen. The small nodes also give us some extra damage. After that, we have the similar thing over here. Increased chance to shock, chill, ignite, some duration, elemental, and we have 20% increased damage for each type of elemental ailment. So basically that's like 60%. Since we are going with Frostbolt, we mostly need like cold damage, but other damages will do just fine as well. But why are we picking this? Because this gives us like +1 level to all cold skills, which is great. Some cold damage, and we are gonna go with penetration and 6% extra elemental damage. After that, we have also these nodes for damage, which is like a little bit of a crit chance. We have 40% increased elemental damage if you've dealt a critical hit recently. Since we are not going crit, this will proc probably a little bit every time, but I will show you why it's gonna proc a bit more than expected. We have Breaking Point, which increases the magnitude of non-damaging ailments we inflict. That's mostly shock, freeze, chill. We have 4% enemy elemental resistance penetration for all three types of damage. So basically it's penetrating both fire, ice, and cold. A little bit of elemental damage. We could have like maybe removed these 4 and went this way, but I think this is just fine. I mean, the whole tree isn't like fully optimized, so you can always play with that. And finally, for some more damage, we have this. This is like increased exposure effect, and we have exposure lowers resistances by an additional 5%. And finally, we have this, which is also elemental damage, but also 30% increased elemental damage if we chilled, shocked, or ignited an enemy. Additionally, now defensively, let's check the defensive things. The defensively things, we have picked some energy shield over here, increased maximum energy shield, a little bit of recharge, and some threshold for ailment and stun. And we have like this. This is like mana regen and maximum energy shield. So yeah, we have mana regenerate. This is like a hybrid node. Additionally, we have energy shield over here, and we have some energy shield over here. Basically, this slows down our start of energy shield recharge. Okay, so defensively, additionally, we also, since we are going like pure energy shield, as you can see, I have around 5k energy shield. The logical thing is to take chaos inoculation, so we are immune to chaos damage and bleeding. But our life is limited to 1, and we have to be very careful when our energy shield depletes, because we need to wait a little bit for it to start recharging. Otherwise, I am not using Convalescence, but you will see that's an option which you guys can like pick and play with it if you need. Okay, and additionally, other things that I have on this tree that are like very important for this build to kind of work are, we have an additional this, which also gives us buffs expire. We have like slowing potency debuffs on you reduced. So basically if something slows you, it won't slow you as much. But the buffs on you expire 10% slower is like another very important thing, and you'll see now why. We have infusion remnants. You create are always a random element, which is nice. You'll see because we use a couple of spells which have different infusions. So generating a random one is nice because different spells will get buffed. And finally we have like Whispers of Doom, which allows us to have additional curse. You will see why when we hit the gems. Let me see if I skipped something. Oh yes, and now the final part, which I didn't mention, is we have some utility nodes. One of those is Zone of Control, which basically gives us 20% increased, 40% increased area of effect of curses, increased curse magnitude, and the most important part, enemies you curse are hindered with 15% reduced movement speed. I will tell you why that is when we get to the gems. Also, those additional nodes just increase the area of effect of curses, which is like 60%, and 40, that's like 100%, basically having your curse cover the whole freaking screen. And the other utility one is the presence area of effect, which is this node, which gives us like 4% increased spirit, 30% increased presence area of effect, 20, 15, that's like, I don't know, like 65%. The presence area is the one that we have on Chronomancer from Apex of the Moment. The default value is, I think, like 40 units, so that's like 4 meters. And this increases it to around at least 7, 6 or 7, and that's like maybe a little bit more than half the screen. And finally, the one thing I didn't say, we have Arcane Surge, which is gained through infusion on the amulet. Why is this important? Because we really need that Arcane Surge, and the mana regeneration it provides is just insane. It's like 15% increased cast speed and 20% more mana regeneration, which means that's a multiplier. It lasts for 4 seconds by default, and that's why we have all of these buffs on you expire 10% slower, which makes our Arcane Surge on us last longer. And that's actually the thing that we needed and why we needed it. Okay, I have some jewels set up inside. They are basically the most generic jewels. They give me maximum energy shield, presence area, mana regeneration. This one has critical damage bonus, even though I'm not like doing any crits. Then we have this one, energy shield recharge, mana regen on kill, magnitude of damaging ailments you inflict with critical hits, which we don't, cast speed, and more. And the last one we have is like a critical spell damage bonus, ignite magnitude, another area of effect of curses, which is 25%, stun threshold from energy shield, which is very nice, and that's about it. Now we'll go and see the gems, actually the skills and its links. Okay, my main skill for this build is obviously Frostbolt. Frostbolt is kind of crazy because it's going from like 30 to like 40k DPS, but this is all like in-game. In PoB you will see at least like 50k DPS. The important part about Frostbolt is that it has like an explosion as well, which is also ranging from like 40 to 60k. And you can get those explosions exploding on every enemy when it touches them by using a snake pit. But we'll get back to snake pit a little bit later. Anyway, so Frostbolt. Why is Frostbolt the skill that I picked? First of all, Frostbolt is usually a very slow skill, which I can show you when we remove this. And it fires something like this. It's a very slow moving skill, but it does a lot of damage. The important part is it's freezing, it's chilling, and the enemies around you are just going to like be frozen. So basically our build has Sione's Temper on Frostbolt, because this is a great gem which gains 1 wild shard on casting supported spells. When we get like to 100%, we fire 8 additional projectiles in a circle per wild shard. All wild shards are lost when supported circles fire projectiles in a circle. This means that when we get like 5 wild shards, we have 100% chance that we will fire 8 projectiles in a circle. Sometimes it will happen with like 1 wild shard, sometimes with 2, depends if we are lucky or not. So basically what this does is this. And as you can see, I'm running out of mana very fast. So basically, this is the reason we are using Frostbolt, because with Sione's Temper, it's actually doing a lot of AoE. It's covering basically all of the sides of your character. It's shooting in every direction, and that's great. We have additionally Relentless Propulsion, which gives Frostbolt projectile speed, which is based 50% on increases and reductions to cast speed. Since we are using a Chronomancer, and Chronomancer has Sense of Time, which can grant us over 60% increased speed, which we can see in the top corner. That's how fast our half of that value goes into the speed of those Frostbolts. And as you can see, they've become slower, but as the Sense of Time gain casting speed, so do these Frostbolts gain projectile speed. After that, we have additional gem, which is cold penetration. We need like to penetrate as much as possible cold damage. I am using Zenith 2, which is basically like 25% of supported skills mana cost is recouped as mana. And the skills do 30% more damage as long as we are above 90% of max mana. As you can see, we are almost never above 90% of mana. So maybe this could be replaced with something more interesting, but Control Destruction or something like that. But Control Destruction would remove crit completely. And the reason why we don't want to remove crit completely is the following. Remember when I was saying that we have Arcane Surge on crit? We have 10% chance to gain Arcane Surge when you deal a critical hit. Well, those critical hits do not ask you if it's a 1 projectile from Frostbolt or if it's 8 projectiles. So basically every projectile, if it crits, we have 10% chance from that projectile to get the Arcane Surge. So when you are mapping and when you are running maps, you are just shooting your Frostbolts. One of those Frostbolts will definitely trigger Arcane Surge and all the other crit triggers. I think we have like Arcane Surge and, if I'm correct, Storm Charge. If you've dealt a critical hit, we suddenly get a boost in elemental damage. After that, we have Cold Mastery, which just gives us +1 level to supported cold skills. And as you can see, our Frostbolt is level 33. How we got 33, that's a long story, and we will show it when we get down to items. Let's do the defensive skills, which are Temporal Rift and Time Freeze. As you can see, Temporal Rift is always running, and it's level 26. I have added cooldown recovery on this, so it can recover faster. And especially the most important thing is adding like a Second Wind. Second Wind has like, it's an option to give you like additional usage, but it also reduces the cooldown recovery rate. So basically, if we check the details, we will see that the cooldown is around 6 seconds. Without Second Wind, it would be like 3.5 seconds. But if we also check without cooldown recovery, it would be 4.5 seconds. And just with Second Wind, it would be 7.5. So basically, this is like a middle ground. And why is this important? I would rather have like 2 usages, and while I'm spending my 2 usages, I think Temporal Rift is like very, very able to save you and change the way of the map as you go. Now, for example, let me show you. As you are walking around, you are leaving these after images, and when you use that, you are suddenly returned there. But also, as I said, it will restore your mana, energy, shield, and life. We don't have life, we have like 1, but let's see if, for example, for mana, it's going to work. It's going to work just fine. For example, this, and now, pop, and we are already there. Now, my mana regeneration is kind of high, so it's kind of hard to see the difference, but there we go. So Temporal Rift is a great utility. Then we have Time Freeze. Time Freeze is a skill which freezes the whole freaking screen, basically. And if we check the details, we can see the wave radius is kind of big. It's like 12 meters, which is probably more than just one screen. I think one screen is around 10. The bad thing about the Time Freeze is it's got a cooldown of 1 minute. And that's basically also because we are using a Second Wind. Because without Second Wind, it's around 40 seconds. I'd rather have 2 usages of Time Freeze instead of just like waiting another 40 seconds for another one. Additionally, on this, we have again cooldown recovery. We got magnified area, so we have like even higher area of freeze. We have rapid casting, which is basically we need to cast that like really, really fast when we are in trouble, and the cast time is around 0.22 seconds. And we have prolonged duration, which is basically giving us longer duration of the time freeze. I think the default one is like 3 seconds. With this, it becomes 4.05 seconds. There are probably other ways to like increase the duration even more, especially if you are picking like skill duration on your passive tree, but I've decided like this is okay because I don't need like more than 4 seconds just to get out of some clutch, and that's it. For defense, I am also utilizing Arctic Armor. Arctic Armor is, well, kinda, you can look at this like this. You have Arctic Armor, which basically is now level 31, and it does like 90k of DPS when somebody hits you. It's very good for melee combat, and basically when somebody hits you as a melee, this will save your butt like many times. But on the other hand, I haven't like had anybody come into my melee space and touch me because I'm just killing and destroying everything so fast. So maybe this isn't like the best choice. For Arctic Armor, we have like this, which is like Frost Nexus, which creates chilled ground when a frozen enemy hits you. Actually, when an enemy hits you and gets frozen. And Crouching Ground, which makes that chilling ground expand. 50% more freeze buildup because I want, if a melee actually hits me, I want him to freeze. We have Zenith 2, again, extra damage for mana recoup, but not sure if this is going to be useful because we are almost never above 90% mana. And we have another Cold Mastery, which is just +1 to support Cold skill. And yeah, the other option to change for Arctic Armor would be like Covalescence. If you are like running a boss and that boss damages you hard, maybe using Covalescence to instantly start your energy shield recharge would be a better option. Don't take me this for granted. I don't know. I'm not like really sure, but I think it would be like a better choice. And finally, we have we could say those are defensive, but they are more like a combined thing, like offense/defense. We have Frost Wall and Spell Slinger, and I'll tell you why those are like offense/defense. Frost Wall, obviously. You know why? Because we have like fortress, so basically it's creating those walls in a circle. We have crystalline shards; they can impel, so basically this ice wall can actually hurt. We have like glacier, which gives it 100% more life, and you will see why we have this. And we have elemental focus to make it deal more elemental damage, but the damage is quite it's like only 8k, which is kind of trash. And with like we have cooldown recovery as well, because the cooldown is quite big. With this, I think the cooldown is kind of less. It's like 3.33 seconds, down from 4.17. And basically we have like 3 frost walls, but we can constantly like spam them, and that's basically it. And the second one I was mentioning was Spellslinger. Now, Spellslinger is mostly offensive, but I'm using it like this. We have Ball of Lightning inside, which uses Wild Shards, since we can have 2 Sionis Tempers. We have Energy Capacitor, so it has like more and more like maximum energy. And we have Rising Tempest, because we are constantly spamming skills of different types. But what's the point of this Spell Slinger and Wild Shards? Why is this like defensive? So basically you are running through a forest, for example, and a bunch of monsters is coming your way, and you have like 9 charges, which is the maximum for Ball Lightning. When you use it, it will do something like this. Another additional thing is that Ball Lightning has a fire-infused version, which is very nice because it does like 460 to 690 fire damage, and basically it will cover the whole freaking screen. But also it leaves Ignited Ground, which does even more fire damage, which is 740 to 1.1k. And that's why this Ball of Lightning combo is actually very nice. So basically this was since they all fired in one direction. But if they would fire in all the directions, basically all the wild sharded projectiles would have the ignited ground and explosion, and it really blasts a lot. Okay, and that was basically it. Now what's left is the offensive and basically the curse setup. So let's go with the curse setup. So what I'm using additionally to actually curse the enemies is blasphemy. Why blasphemy? Because I don't want to go around and spam those curses manually. And we have like elemental weakness, and we have temporal chains. Those curses are actually very insane. Why? Elemental weakness is very nice because it's reducing the elemental resistances by 70%, and temporal chains is slowing everything by 65%. We have additionally added heightened curse, and we have ritualistic curse, which makes the area of effect of those curses even bigger. So basically, combine that with the nodes from the skill tree, we have like a huge area of effect, which is slowing down enemies with huge freaking additional slow from our additional presence aura that's slowing. And we have also the support slow potency, which also increases the slow from temporal chains. Elemental weakness is here just to like increase our damage output, but the temporal chains are the real deal, because they are just slowing, and together with the apex of the moment, it's like a giga uber slow. Oh yeah, and that's why we need also additionally zone of control, because the moment you make the moment the enemy enters the zone where your curse is active, they get hindered and reduce the movement speed. So this is a nice combo which really slows everything down. Okay, so you're probably wondering, but man, you're just like spamming those frostbolts. Like, how the hell are you doing so much damage? How are you like killing stuff and all that? For offense, we have cast an elemental ailment, and this is the most important part. Why we can't have, like, for example, elemental focus on frostbolt, because we need frostbolt to actually freeze. But whenever it freezes, it will cast elemental ailments, which are basically triggering two spells. They are triggering a flame wall, and they are triggering Orb of Storms. Flame Wall, we have support for Flame Wall, which is Ignite 3, which makes the Flame Wall ignite stuff even further. But the important part about Flame Wall is actually the projectile damage. So basically all the new Frostbolts that are coming through, they will actually go through the Flame Wall that was spawned, and they will get extra fire damage. Additionally, we have Shock, and basically our Orb of Storms, which has like 3 additional chains from quality. You will need like quality, at least 20%. It will shock everything that is there to shock. And finally, we have Commiserate. Whenever we drop like Orb of Storms or Flame Wall, the Commiserate will, if you are, in case you are ignited or shocked, it will remove those shocks, it will remove those ignites, and it will buff the flammability, and I don't know what's this called, like shockability or whatever, shock chains on both of these skills. Why is this great? So basically those are like supportive skills that are being fired all the time and making your map clear just like uber easy. And that's the basically the combo that we have. We have also like Frostbomb. Frostbomb, I guess you can guys already know what's Frostbomb doing here. Frostbomb is just like to drop the exposure. Its gems are expected. It's potent exposure, cold penetration, prolonged duration, magnified area, of course, and I've put Ambrosia. Ambrosia is actually nice because it will take your mana flask charges and give some extra lightning damage. So basically, it doesn't do much damage, but basically the exposure is there, and it's like really lasting. And finally, for bosses, we have Comet. Now you are probably wondering, man, that's like 96k, that's just junk. Let me tell you, the game isn't calculating the DPS tooltips correctly. This is at least like 500,000 DPS based on the POB numbers. Why? First of all, we have Unleash. Unleash makes you gain seals. After you gain seals, you drop not one but like 3 comets. Then we have Considered Casting. This is like more damage, and we have less cast speed. But the only difference between this build and other builds with Chronomancer is that this build is using self-cast. After that, we have also Ambrosia, which basically eats our mana flask charges. And we have Concentrated Area, which makes the area of impact smaller but does more damage. And finally, a skill that we should definitely use, the support gem Verglass. What is this? You are probably asking. This means that if we are like summoning all of those frost walls and we are dropping comet on that, the first comet will destroy probably the ice, but it's also going to give us 1% of damage gained as extra cold for 6 seconds per 2000 max life on the destroyed ice crystal. If we look onto frost walls max life, it's 45k. We are getting 25%, circa 25% damage gained as extra cold for 6 seconds. So basically, when we drop those comets, they do a lot of damage. So basically, this is a build that's like highly, how would I say? You need to use a lot of buttons. Is the build easy to play? It takes a little bit of a time to get adjusted, and I don't know. I didn't want to play the same build that everyone is playing, and that is custom crit, and everyone goes full into crit, takes comet, and then just like blasts through maps with comets, which is kind of the easy way, and this is like probably the hard way, but it's working. It's working, and that's what matters. And now let's get down to the last section of this build guide, and those are items. So basically you are wondering how the hell did we get like Frostbolt to level 33, for example. The answer is items. So basically some of these items have plus to cold skills or plus to all skills, and that's what matters. We need to get as much as possible of those levels, because that's what makes the build run so good. So basically, first we have this wand, which gives us +5 level to all cold spell skills. If you noticed, our main skills, which are Frostwall, Frostbomb, Comet, and Frostbolt, they are all cold spell skills, so they all get like +5 levels, and that's what's important. Now, this isn't some crazy dueling wand. As you can see, it's kinda meh. You could also look for a 3 sockets dueling wand, which you can then enchant with those runes that give you +1 to all skill spells. And that rune is really expensive. I think 20 divines is 1 at least. But wand, as you are looking right now, is at least like, it's like maybe 1 divine. This build is extremely cheap. After that, we have a helmet. This helmet is kinda easy to buy. It's around 1 div, maybe 2 divs. Get some resistances, and the one important thing is like take the increased spirit reservation efficiency of skills. Since we are using cast on elemental ailment, blasphemy, and arctic armor, we will need those spirit reservation efficiencies. That's very important. Otherwise, you won't be able to activate all of them. For example, I have 237 spirit, and I am like right there, like completely on a line. Like I have like exactly 0 spirit left. Okay, I have also socketed Talisman of Egrin, which gives you enemies you curse take 5% increased damage. The important thing is you can have a helmet with 2 sockets probably, and then you can have like 2 of those talismans inside. Okay, let's get down to focus. The most important part about this focus is +3 to all levels of all spell skills. The rest is just the damage, cold damage, cast speed. Yeah, the important thing is also look for cast speed. Wherever you can, look for cast speed. You want to spam those freaking frostbolts as fast as you can. I put in some mana regeneration because mana is really a problem, and you need like mana regeneration wherever you can get. Just go for mana regeneration. Then we have like this amulet, which is like mana regeneration. The most important part, again, +3 level to all spell skills. And we have also like cast speed. We have global defenses, which is actually increasing your energy shield as well. And we have mana regeneration, and the aspiring genius is infused. That's the arcane surge thing. We have invocated spells have 19% chance to consume half as much energy, and that would be our spell slinger, which is like the ball lightning. So yeah, that's a good thing. Then we have some rings. For rings, always look for mana, cast speed, elemental resistances, and as much as you can, mana regeneration, mana regeneration, mana regeneration. Okay, and now we're getting to the second ring, which is like Snake Pit. And Snake Pit is actually the most important kind of unique, probably worth like 1 divine. This one is like really important because it gives you some spell damage. It gives you cast speed, which is great for our Frostbolt. But the most important thing is that projectiles from spells cannot pierce. And Frostbolt is always piercing, so now it cannot pierce. But also if you put this in the left socket like we did, projectiles cannot chain, but they can fork. So basically every time your Frostbolt touches somebody, it will explode and it will fork into 2 new Frostbolts. Basically you are just like having a bunch of Frostbolts flying everywhere and destroying and exploding everything. That's very important. Body armor. This body armor was probably around 5 to 10 divines. Nothing special. Why do we need such an armor? We need spirit. Spirit, 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 spirit. All we need is more spirit so we can have that all 3 of those active, like elemental ailment cast, blasphemy, and arctic armor. So I found this one. It wasn't that expensive, but the hardest thing was getting the spirit reservation efficiency of skills, which you can get by desecrating. And I was lucky and I got the 12%, which is very important because then your skills are reserving less spirit. This combined with the helmet gives around 20% increased spirit reservation efficiency, which is very nice. Okay, now gloves. For gloves, you can just find some exceptional gloves with 3 of those sockets. I found these, they have even 1 resist, they have solid energy shield. But why do we need like 3 of those sockets? Because we need to socket these runes, which are called Phenom's Rune of Spinning. They give you 8% cast speed, and basically altogether this is giving us 23% cast speed. Okay, then we have this nice belt. Me personally, I would go for a fine belt because your flasks gain charges like 0.17 charges per second. You need at least 2 charm slots. I got some extra armor, some mana, a couple of resistances, and the most important part is like mana regeneration rate. You need mana regen everywhere. And finally for boots, we have a classic triple resist boot with 35% move speed. I slammed in some lightning resistance as a rune. They are armor energy shield based, so we got some little armor. I guess altogether we have like 2k armor, which is nothing special. Estimated physical damage reduction is 37%, but for the small hits from the small mobs, this is just enough. Then we have Blood of the Warrior, a Gargantuan life flask, which is kinda useless. There's simply no unique life flasks that we can use. Then we have charms. For charms, we have anti-immunity. That's the most important one because we will get frozen from time to time. Then we have a golden charm of the perpetual. This is nice because when we kill bosses, it basically gives us a bit more rarity. We don't need any other kind of defense for like bleeding, poison, or other because we are immune already. And we have silver charm, which is basically recovering our mana, and we are unaffected by slows. So we have almost like 3 charges, 3 consumes, I think. We are 5 off, so basically when it gets used like twice, we are already probably ready with the 3rd one. So yeah, this silver charm is actually very good. And finally we have Melting Maelstrom. This is like the flask. That's a very nice unique flask. So what it does is basically, besides recovering your mana, it's got like an effect that lasts 9 seconds, and every 3 seconds during effect, it deals 50% of mana spent in those seconds as chaos damage to enemies within 3 meters. And then it does like 20%, 25% of current mana as chaos damage to you when the effect ends. So basically we get 0 damage because we are chaos immune, but we keep spamming chaos damage on enemies every 3 seconds while also regenerating our mana. So basically what it does is the more you spam, the more damage you will do, and our skills cost a lot. So basically having this constantly turned on is not that bad, and it's just like a helpful additional damage. Okay, so basically we covered all of this. We covered items, we covered gems, we covered the skill tree, and that's the build. So basically, if you have any questions, if you have anything else to ask, if you have any ideas how to improve. Oh yeah, before we finish, this build is nowhere like being min-maxed or anything like that. This build is just made like by generically playing without much crafting, without like giving like super much thought about it. What should I put where? What should be done? What could be improved? What could be like changed and all that? Because I was just enjoying the game, and accidentally it came to be that it works. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas like how to improve, how to make it better, what to change, leave your comments in the section below, or come join me on Twitch while streaming. We can talk about it, do more stuff, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this kind of build guide. I don't know if I can call this a build guide. I'm leaving the POB link below. Thank you for watching, and now enjoy some of the boss fights and mapping videos of this build. Thank you, keep foxing, and see you next time. Let's get him now. I must get him now!
The past lingers here, waiting to be unearthed.
I am the doom at the door.
Nah. Fuck. Fuck is he doing? Shit. I hate this attack. Come on, hit him. Nice. What the fuck did he just... Fuck off, bro. Like, he's not giving like any cues. Maybe that's the fucking problem. How the fuck did that just happen? Okay. There we go, come on. Shut up. And die. Die already. It's frozen. How much health does he have? Can you fucking die? Finally! Finally! Alright. That's the... Basically, that crazy boss. Don't remember his name, but what the fuck is this? Oh, it's the chest. Wait, that's not a rare chest. I know what chest is that. She's gonna spawn everybody. Oh. Ooh. Rondel. So I was wondering, like, if I have a like huge cast speed, which I do, my projectiles are kinda fast, but I think they could be like even faster. Like I don't know. Are they fast enough? Wish they would like fly like crazy speeds, but I don't know, maybe it's just me thinking that this is slow. And I feel like projectile acceleration 3 had like better speeds. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get back to it. Researcher Strongbox. Why are these researcher Strongboxes summoning monsters like this? Remember that thing? Ah, it might be a map thing. Okay. Nice. Nice as it drops. On. Cool breaches. Out there. The breach. If we do the breaches, we'll. I mean, if we do the boss, we'll go back to like. We'll go back and do the breaches rituals. It's expedition. Oh, there it is. There's the expedition. I think boss will be kinda tough. Fail! But we'll see. Shit, I fucking hate when this happens. Holy, what the fuck? Somebody has like wisps. I have no clue where and who. Ah, here we go. But not these guys. Move away from the breach. Step away from the breach. What the hell is this blood following me? So I basically have crit. 100% crit. Okay. This is a nice drop. There's the boss. Let's go to the boss while I have those crits. Where is Makuru? I don't fucking know and I don't fucking care. See, like, stuck again. Oh, come on, don't fuck with me. What the fuck? Easy. Not that easy, but kinda easy. Chronomancer 14. Boy. He doesn't wait much. Of course, and then he fucking teleports the last fucking second. What the hell is... Shut up. What the? Mama, smart. What the? Of course.
Your maze matters not. I will find you.
Got him. Man, can he stop like... It wasn't that hard.